Don't you love comedy? Because I love me some fucking comedy in this world, especially when it's a bad situation that you kind of having in life, whatever it may be, problems, rent, whatever. You kind of want to head to comedy, kind of forget about your problems, just to begin with, right? I love me some old school, Monty Python, Mel Brooks, Eddie Murphy, Bill Murray, even Adam Sandler on an occasion. Not the new Adam Sandler, we're talking about the good one. And especially, Good Days of Kevin Smith, just a different variety of type of comedy, just to begin with. Now, every once in a while, Hollywood tends to kind of take a name out of the random hat of comedians bag, and they tend to make them kind of a thing. Some of them work, some of them are so quick that you don't even really remember them, and some of them actually are still making movies, and you're still kind of questioning it still to this day, for some reason. But that's just my thought. You have Pauly Shore, we've had Andy Dick. Those guys didn't really last that long, and I'm surprised they even made it big, even though I like Encino Man. No judgments. Then you have Adam Sandler. Some people were wondering why is he still making films. But then you have obviously Chris Rock, Eddie Murphy, even Richard Pryor. Sometimes they transfer over to big screen stand-up comedians. Sometimes they don't. And the recent ones obviously are Melissa McCarthy, Kevin Hart, still doing strong. And our most recent one, and probably the most controversial one, is Amy Schumer. Just begin. So let's get into this. I'm not a hater of Amy Schumer. I am not a sexist person for not liking Amy Schumer. I do not love her, nor do I hate her. I'm not one of those people that probably hit the overly dislike button on the YouTube Netflix page. But I'm not necessarily someone who's going to defend her. But let's talk about this Netflix special, the Leather special, so to speak. Now, is it funny? Is it good? Is it bad? Or does it deserve all the dislikes in the world? Here's the thing about this special. It's not very good. Now, I get it's comedy subjective, but that's just a simple truth. And I'm just going to kind of say this thing right now. I don't judge comedy necessarily. I can't really judge it. And it's very difficult to judge comedy, especially comedy specials. How do you really review it? So I'm judging it off of kind of the crowd reception. Now, I'm watching this shit and the crowd reception is actually pretty solid. The women love it. It's mostly a majority of women in the audience. And I think they actually do laugh at her jokes. And I think some of the jokes are actually pretty good, so to speak. I think some of the best jokes that she actually has is pretty much about blowjob kissing, kind of like when a dude is pretty much, licking pussy, so to speak. And then he pretty much wants to go for the kiss, and then she's like dodging, whatever it may be. And then it kind of goes vice versa also. If a dude is kind of putting, his dick up some chick's ass or her pussy, essentially, and he wants the chick to kind of like blow him and then kiss him, that's just kind of like, oh, that's kind of nasty. Even though hopefully your dick is clean, it just kind of goes in a weird position. But things start to get inside of your head. And on top of that, she talks about, machine gun shitting. I thought that was actually pretty funny. If you've seen it, especially, what I'm talking about. On top of, where to pretty much come. You're asking girl where to come. Do you want to come her tits? You want to come her ass? Whatever it may be. Because obviously, when you watch porn, you probably just naturally think, hit it in the face. But then, it is what it is. I thought those were actually funny jokes just to begin with. But the problem, I think, with this special is just that we can talk about the subjects that she talks about. As I said, she talks about where to come. She talks about machine gun shitting. She talks about publicity stuff. But majority of stuff that she talks about pretty much tends to be about the pussy and sex jokes and just overall, kind of, pussy and dicks. And that's basically the stuff to wrap it up to begin with. I'm fucking up my words. I don't know what I'm saying. Either way, that's the thing about this special is just that I feel like it does tend to go in circles a bit. And as I said, those are some of the standout jokes that I can say, and I can't say every joke. But for the most part, I think she actually builds up to some of the jokes, and they have good punchlines, and I think her facial expressions actually add for some of the stuff to be a lot more funnier than it actually is. The problem is that I feel like when she tries to do some other jokes that aren't the typical kind of like shtick that she pretty much does, and I get it, sex jokes is kind of her thing. But when you really look at her stand-up special, especially this one, it's like when she tries to do something that's not her typical shtick, it pretty much bombs, and then she pretty much is just like, let's get back to pussy, dick, vagina, let the doves fly. And then that's pretty much the basic thing. And it's just like, fuck, this shit is kind of going in circles. So about like the 35-minute mark, I'm starting to check my watch, and like this shit is kind of going a little bit too slow. And then this is about an hour-long special, so I'm just like, wow, Netflix really didn't do that good of a job. Even the crowd, towards the end, I feel like they really don't care that much. And I feel like even she's starting to see it, and there's a couple of jokes that really bomb, that really aren't that funny. There's an Anne Frank joke that I thought was slightly kind of amusing, but even the crowd I thought was just like, oh, I guess that didn't really work that well. But either way, I thought the special did its job to kind of get some laughs, but unfortunately, if we're basing off of the crowd reaction, even her own audience didn't really think it was that funny. It was kind of funny at first, but then they start to realize that this shit is kind of going in a circle, and then they just start to kind of die out in the same way as me. Hell, even Amy Schumer starts to take a drink and just be like, soon it would just be you and me talking to the wine bottle. It is what it is. There's constant pussy jokes, and there's constant dick jokes, and it's constant bathroom humor type of stuff, and that's great, and the body image type of stuff, and she talks about gun control also inside of the special, and those are all interesting topics that she can do, and she makes some of them actually work. But for the most part, if I had to rate this shit, and I hate rating systems, but if I had to rate this shit, I would just say it's like a decent enough chuckle. It never goes past like, it's kind of funny. It never goes past that. It's not laugh out loud hysterical. And some people don't like Kevin Hart, but even he can make me actually laugh out loud. But overall, Amy Schumer's thing is basically, that's pretty much it. Every time she tried to do something, that's not her typical type. But joke humor, it just kind of folds on her ass, and then she's right back to just saying stuff about the vagina and pussy, whatever. And it sounds like I'm going in circles maybe, but it is what it is. It's not that hard, or it's pretty hard to talk about a stand-up special that just seems like it kind of ran out of material, as far as I'm concerned, about maybe 30 minutes in. And that's just my thought, and that's my opinion. Now, if you actually enjoyed this review, which you probably didn't, but if you did, you can comment, subscribe, share that video. That can actually help me out. But if you didn't, then, well, that'll suck. But overall, like I said, this was a pretty decent enough special, and I hope Dave Chappelle actually comes back and he actually gives us a fantastic return, because, this is not really that great. Now, overall, like I said, Amy Schumer can be funny. I like her show. Inside Amy Schumer, I thought it was actually pretty funny, but as a stand-up comedian, I just feel like her shit just kind of runs its course very quickly. Small doses of Amy Schumer is good. Long doses, particularly a straight-up hour, not so much. And the movie Snatch, that doesn't look like it's going to be doing too well either. But if you actually enjoyed this video, like I said, you can do what I just said. Otherwise, you can just click on this video right now.